Okay guys, all right, it is super hot out right now. It's like 94 degrees and yeah, so let's just get into it. All right, I'm home visiting. I got a job up here in Chicago. I'm here for the 4th of July weekend, which is cool. I'm staying with family until my apartment place is ready to go. So I brought out the Civic today. I brought out the Civic, the 370's outside right now, and the other car is in the storage right now. So anyway, want to do some work on the car, but it's so bloody hot out today. So what I'm going to do is let's talk about a few things first. So these headlights, they have the original yellow bulbs in there, the incandescent clear bulbs, and those just suck, especially considering that it's 2020. And on a 95 Civic, don't get me wrong, it looks good and whatnot, and I have a few things to dress up on the car as far as paint. I think all I have is paint left. I have the harnesses and a few gauges that need to be hooked up. Guys, I only get to work on this car once in a great while, and really it's for the last 5 years. I think I've had it out maybe half a dozen times and just tinker with it here and there. I haven't had really a lot of time to really focus in on where to get it painted and stuff like that, so I'm going to. It's just a matter of closing out some other projects, and I had to deal with some health issues, but we're on the rebound. So let's talk about the headlights really quick. These are JY headlights from Andy's Autosport, and I do have the glass ones from JDM markets over in Japan, and it is amazing, don't get me wrong, to have glass ones, but I really like the look of these. It makes the front end look a little more aggressive. If I can move here, you can kind of see the full scope of the front end. It's really an aggressive front end, and anybody who's seen the videos before or on Instagram can see that. Let me set this down really quick. I'm going to put this not on the carbon fiber, I'm going to put it down here. So anyway, let's talk about what I want to do. So this comes from us, from the Headlight Experts, and these are LED headlight conversions, which you can see. There you go. The part number on this particular part is, let's see here. Yeah, item number HLED, and I think the stock number is H4 high-low. That's the description. Anyway, from the Headlight Experts. Really great freaking availability to convert your incandescent headlights, which give that yellowy glow. Instead of the HIDs, guys, the HIDs create so much heat. So they sent these. And this product is really nicely packaged. You can see they didn't spend any, or they didn't spare any expense on this. It's very nice box. The box itself is very professional, and it's very solid. It's very thick. So when they send it in the mail, it comes wrapped, and you don't have to worry about anything getting broken. Everything is protected also by the foam on the inside here. And if you can see, the quality of the product is just really amazing. So here, let's see if I can zoom in for you. You could see the headlight is just, let me see, there we go, if I can step in front of the camera. The headlight is very nice. It has very nice wrapping on the wiring, so you don't have to worry about the wires themselves becoming cut or severed. It's a very thick wiring. It also has your boxes on the inside here, and I got these in case it throws any faults or messages. On this car, probably not, but on other cars that share similar bulbs, that could be a problem on the newer models. So we're going to install these today. Again, these are from the Headlight Experts. They ran about, let's see here. Yeah, it was about $109 for the set, and then with shipping was about $86, and it was total $196.20. And I bought these last year, actually, guys, in October. But like I said, I haven't been home, and I haven't had time with school and everything else, plus battling some things. So anyway, these are going in today, and those will give the headlights a fresher look. Right here, it has projector bulbs in there, or projector, I guess you say lenses, and the glass on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and we'll put that LED behind there, and that'll really brighten things up quite a bit. On the back end, I have to replace a LED tail light, and the reason being is because along here, the lens and the housing on the other taillight has a little bit of a gap, and that's a manufacturer problem, so we got a new taillight. And I've had this for some time too. It was sent to me and I just need to install it. So that's going in today. This is a smoked LED taillight for the back end, and it comes in a set as well for the trunk area. This is just the corner piece. The trunk piece was just fine. Anyway, so that's going to go in today, and I'm just going to go ahead and make those changes on the car. So yeah, my friend Jordan in Maryland, Virginia and Maryland on the border there, goes with me to Cars and Coffee a lot. And when I do come down there, he's always super cool and a lot of fun to hang out with. And guys, I just got my 42nd birthday this past April, and I never thought I'd make it because a few years ago I got some pancreatic cancer and I went through a huge surgery and some chemo. And Jordan's been seeing me go through all this nonsense since I moved out to Maryland, Odenton, Maryland, about 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And he's been really cool, really supportive. And he reached out to some guys that you and I both know, Daily Driven Exotics, Doug DeMuro, Rob Ferretti, Randy from Savage Garage, and Dream Garage's DragTimes guy. All told him what's been going on with me and how much of a gearhead I've always been. Guys, this is everything else that I do in my life, and I know this sounds silly out of a Fast and the Furious movie. A lot of the things that I do in my life are really just so I can enjoy this stuff. I love modifying cars. I love machining parts. I love fabrication. It's my passion. It's always been my passion since I was a kid. And I got into it with my stepdad, who actually is technically my dad. He raised me, so I call him dad even to this day. And he used to drag race in the 70s and 80s. And I got to meet Big Daddy Don Garlitz, John Force, Don the Snake Perdome, Connie Coletta, all these people that we used to go to the drag races and see. The first female drag racer, Shirley Muldowney, pioneered drag racing for women, which I absolutely love. Nothing is sexier to me than a hot chick that knows how to race, whether it's drag racing, autocross, road rallies, whatever. I think that's great. I love to see girls and women get into it from young ages all the way up. And I have a niece who's 12, so eventually I'm going to start getting her into the car field with her dad's permission, of course, and hopefully they won't be too crappy about it. But anyway, so I've always liked these cars. I love everything, guys. I like Honda Civics. I don't snub Honda Civic owners. Lamborghinis, Ferraris, 370s, Camaros, Chargers, Challengers, you name it. If it rolls and it sounds good and it has some oomph behind it, and it's something I could do something stupid in, I definitely enjoy it. Anyway, a lot of guys, they stick to just Ferraris or just Lamborghinis, and it really bothers me that I see some guys will be like, oh, it's a Honda Civic. Well, yeah, but out of all the Civics that are on the road, I like to do the best I can with the both the parts that are period correct as well as some of the newer technology. I've been keeping this car relatively period correct. All the components that are under the hood are all B-series engine components, and you can get all these parts in the 90s and early 2000s, even after they came out with the EKs. A lot of the aftermarket stuff that you'll see on this car, a lot of this stuff was bought, 8, 10, 12 years ago, and even after this whole front end was destroyed, guys, it was wrecked back in 2000 and I want to say 10 or 11, and it's been all rebuilt. The whole front end has been rebuilt. The inner structure, the radiator core support, all the carbon fiber components. I took it as a sign that I could upgrade with all C-bond and everything I ever wanted to do to the car. The wheels are from Inkai. They're GTC 01s. They're just a beautiful wheel. They're Japanese JSW. They're JDM. They are, what do you call it? The European domestic market. They have in Germany. They have the DTM racing. So these wheels are qualified for a lot of their cars. They're on anything on the track. It has two valve stems, not one. And you can fill these with nitrogen, and they're just really great. You can get 2 readings from different locations on the tire, and that's part of, I guess, from what I understand, that's part of the regulations, which is pretty cool. So it's a great, great wheel. It looks beautiful. The finish on it is beautiful. And I thought it would just fit on the car. I used to have, oh God, they were Tenzo DC6s when I first got the car. Those were in white. And then if you look on my Instagram, you'll see those on some of my cars because I threw it on my little hatchback in Germany. Then I went with, God, they were, I can't even remember what they were, but they were some 5-star looking wheel. And they were a nice wheel, don't get me wrong. They're a brighter silver. But it just, it's an evolutionary thing, guys. And with the look of the car, I was going for a more adult look. I wanted something that really portrayed the seriousness of the racing side of the house for Hondas and not so much into, don't get me wrong, I like decoration and all that stuff and personalizing your car, but I wanted something that was a little more serious and portrayed the serious side of Honda racing as opposed to a lot of the race, a lot of the stance, a lot of the personalization and customization. I wanted something that was more functional but also beautiful at the same time. On the inside of the car, it's all leather and Alcantara from Recaro. That's the front seats and the back seat. Was all done to match. The back seat was pulled. We pulled all the cloth of it and sent it out to match the front seats. It's just a beautiful, beautiful portrayal of a Honda Civic. And C-Bond makes some excellent components for this car. And if you put them together right, you can really make the car look just the best you can possibly get for a Honda Civic. And it just, it really gives a different look to the Honda Civic EJ1 as opposed to what you see a lot of the times out on the roads as well as on the racetracks. Amateur, of course, is you know, non-professional racing and stuff like that. But you'll see a lot of Honda Civics that have over excessive ground effects and over extensive personalization, and that doesn't give what we call in the car community a clean look to the car. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own style and look to the car, but this is what I was going for. Also, as you can see, I'm a big fan of Always Evolving with Paul Walker, and I relate a lot of my life to Paul Walker. Growing up, the portrayal of Brian O'Connor from Fast and the Furious, I see a lot of Brian O'Connor minus the police side of the force, that type of thing, the police side of his life. I see a lot of the racing and stuff like that as what I went through in the 90s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s, and that evolutionary. I went from American muscle cars and whatnot, and that's all I really liked and grew up with, to I appreciate everything now, from whether it's from Japan or whether it's from Germany, Sweden, you know, I love Koenigsegg and whatnot, or it's American muscle, which I always hold deep in my heart. That's where I started from. And anyway, I see a lot of my life in that portrayal, as well as, you know, I see a lot of my own personal life tied into a lot of what Paul Walker was growing up. He was only 5 years older than me, guys, and, you know, I'm 42, and it's 2020, and 7 years ago, he died, you know, and he was 38 years old when he died, I think. No, I'm sorry, he was 40. He would have been 47 this year. So he was 40 years old. He just hit 40, and 4 or 5 months later, he passed. I think it was 4 months later. And that, when I was 40, I turned 40 years old April 11th, 2 years ago. And 3 years later, or 3 days later, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And it wasn't looking good. So I felt like, you know, after Paul Walker and what he experienced in his life and passing, it hit me pretty hard, and I was like, I was calling it personally, I was calling it the curse, the Paul Walker curse, because he was 40 years old in the prime of his life, was loving life, living large, loving the cars and everything, and enjoying his life, had a daughter, and family was important to him. And when I turned 40, you know, I had something that hit me too, and I was not in a good place, because I knew, you know, I'm not stupid. I kind of studied a lot, and I knew what the statistics were for pancreatic cancer. And that just changed my world upside down. It flipped me upside down, and I had to make a decision. I went through a one of the most serious and terrible surgeries you can go on the planet, one of the most heavily impacting on the human body, and it was called the Whipple procedure, a duodenectomy. And they removed a bunch of things out of me as well as the growth itself. And so yeah, and then I did chemo. So I'm really big about enjoying my time now. Time has become incredibly important to me. Family has become incredibly important. And not that it wasn't before, but spending more time with my nieces and nephews who range from 12 to 5 years old, all the way, up to my family. It's just, it made me realize a lot of my family, extended family, wasn't as close as I thought they were. And I just severed ties with people that were really mediocre, and it didn't really mean much to them until I was sick. And then I haven't heard anything really from any of them. And for example, prior to getting sick, I hadn't heard from one of my aunts for 25 to 30 years, and it didn't really matter. But when I got sick, everybody wanted to clear their conscience, and you know how that goes. So they all came out of the woodwork. But anyway, I'm getting a little off subject, but my buddy Jordan, which I do miss hanging out with him and stuff like that, down at Cars and Coffee and whatnot, he reached out to a bunch of people. My 42nd birthday was really important to me. I never thought I'd see it. And he got a hold of Savage Garage and the boys from over there, Randy and all them. They sent me a really cool shirt slash hoodie. It's one of those real thin hoodies, and it's got Savage Garage on the back. And I would definitely look forward to the weather getting a little cooler and wearing this. So Randy and the team, thank you so much for this. It really means a lot, The car guys, it's a tight community, guys, and we all share one thing in common, and that's our love for all the cars. It doesn't matter what you're driving, whether Randy and his CCX, Koenigsegg, by the way, that's amazing. Congratulations, brother. It looks absolutely beautiful. To whether it's a kid who is building a Honda Civic EJ1 or even an EK, and he's got a tight budget. We all share the same desire, and that is to enjoy everything that we enjoy. And we shouldn't snub each other. I've seen a lot of that on gumball rallies. I got snubbed recently by the, oh God, what was it? It was, I don't even remember their name really anymore, but they're out in New York. And they snubbed me on a free rally. I said, well, hey, let me join you. I was coming out of Baltimore, and they kind of gave me, you'll see it on my Instagram, guys. I kind of gave them a Wolf of Wall Street laugh, but I said, hey, let me join you on the rally. They were all cool about it. They were all Porsche drivers, and as soon as they found out I had a 370Z, and it's no slouch, guys. I did some mods on that car too, but they snubbed me and said, nope, we only want exotic cars. And I said, well, wait a minute, a Japanese car is not a domestic car, it's an exotic. But apparently they didn't feel that way, and they snubbed me. That will never happen with me, guys. When I bring street culture to your town, or I bring street culture to where I settle at, which I'm trying to move to Texas in the next few years, I will never snub. It doesn't matter if you got a $2,000 Honda Civic, or you got a $2 million Koenigsegg, or even a $7 million Lykan Hypersport. It doesn't matter. To that kid that only has $2,000 in his pocket or into his car, that is his Lykan Hypersport. And that's what the car community should be about. Randy Kohler and the Gumball, American Gumball Rally, I really like his rallies because Randy's about the same thing. It doesn't matter what you're driving, you bring it to the rally and we all have a good time. It doesn't matter if it's a Dodge Viper, or it doesn't matter if it's a Subaru STI. Or, remember that couple we had, Randy, in 2016? They had that Jeep Grand Cherokee, that older couple. That was really cool. And I think they were the only ones that were comfortable taking their cars through that free-range safari we visited in Ohio. I think they were the only ones that felt really chill about it, because the rest of us were sweating bullets. Anyway, you guys can check that out on my YouTube channel, but it was a lot of fun. That's what I feel the car community should be more about. Yeah, I got it, the exotic cars, the higher end exotics, I got it. They're expensive and they're flashing, they got a ton of power, but hey, there's other cars out there that, look at a Mazda RX-7 that has a 4-rotor, and that's pushing 12 to 1600 horsepower. You never know. You just don't know what's out there, and each car is designed differently for different things, and it's not always about the quarter mile or who's fastest off the line, because a car like this may get beaten all day long off the line, but in the turns, I have power to weight ratio, and the car is set up for road course, short road course, as opposed to top end and long road course. But anyway, it's still no slouch. But anyway, back to Randy and Savage Garage. He also sent me a hat, which is great. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Always Evolving hat, which I love Always Evolving, but I'm definitely gonna wear this too. I absolutely love it, thank you. They sent me a lot of these keychains, MAGA, Make America Great Again, Trump 2020, which is awesome. I love it. Hey buddy, that's really cool. And a bunch of Savage Garage air fresheners, as well as Savage Garage keychains. So thank you, I love it guys. I'll definitely use them. And I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I think I said thank you before, but I wanted to put it on YouTube. I think I did it on Instagram. Let me set those here. Also, DragTimes. DragTimes, hold on for a sec, guys. I know, I'll be right there. I'm finishing up my video. So, sorry, my mom's home. She wants to open up the garage. Visiting, right? So anyway, DragTimes, Dream Garages, they sent me a shirt. It says, "Run your car, not your mouth." And I totally agree. Yeah, you never know if you'll get beat by a Mazda RX-7 and you're driving a GTR. So he also sent me this here, which I will go ahead and put in the frame, which is really cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and he autographed it in the lower left there. Randy also sent me Savage Garage stickers I can put in the windows and also for the garage, which is good. So thanks Randy, and thanks Savage Garage, thank you DragTimes, and thank you Jordan for giving the shout out and hooking me up for my birthday. So I appreciate it. Hopefully in the next year or so, things will be stepping up, and we'll be having more fun. So thank you very much. This is George from StreetCulture.US, and thank you to Savage Garage and DragTimes, Dream Garages. Thank you Jordan, and thank you to all you out there in the car community that I love having fun with and spending time with. So thank you guys, and happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and I will see you on the road.